Hi, Zizaran here with a quick update to my Spark build that I am playing. Zizaran Archmage. I previously made an update with Call of the Brotherhood and really liked that. That was basically the budget version I was doing until I had a chest, ideally 160 spirit. I'm talking a little bit about different things you can do. I basically yoinked Embu's version and then have adapted it a little bit for solo self-found. And I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing because it might help other people, especially if you're in trade league and you don't really want to trade with people, or you are playing SSF yourself. But I did make up like a quick planner of my exact stuff. This is the first time that I'm really using weapon sets. So the first weapon set here, and by the way, these use regular points. The benefit is that I get Giga Curse effect on my second set and curse AoE. So if I now throw a curse down, you can see the curse is pretty large. It's also very effective. And then on my first set, which I'm using for most things, I have loads of damage nodes. Now, my damage from tooltip went from like 30,000 DPS on Spark to 8,000, and my damage tripled. So I learned from that in-game tooltips, not so important. And the reason for that, and actually sort of my mapping clear, is honestly probably actually a little bit lower damage, but what I've got now is way higher shock. I think I have 67 or something % shock magnitude right now, and I want to get to 100%. That is what makes discharge really pop off. So this is not like an early build. This is actually something you need quite a lot for this now. So it took me a long time. Obviously, you need the everlasting gaze. You really need a proper test. You need ideally at least 60 spirit on this. If you have 60 spirit, you technically don't need Oaksworn, and you could run without Grim Feast. I am on hardcore and I want to be a little bit more of a bitch, so I am running Grim Feast, but there is a process for which I can receive that without the shield, and I could use an actual shield or a focus. I think I would probably still use a shield because block is so strong, but I could go for another, like a better one. So let's see. I'm not exactly sure what spirit goes to on body armor. I believe it's 65. Gotta remember you can vol it as well for magnitude, which honestly is going to be a part of this build's endgame, I believe. Let me check real quick. Spirit goes all the way up to 61, so this is the top roll. And then if you hit the magnitude, you can go up to 73 spirit is the most you can get. And you kind of want that if you don't want to get stuck using Venturous Gambles. Venturous Gambles is another way to solve this. But what I could do, so obviously I need, if I remove clarity, I need 13 more spirit. Again, volleying chest can solve this, or getting a helmet like so can also help this. A little bit of a pain to fit, but you know, actually I think I need more than 13. I think I need more than 13. Either way, it's very chef's kiss to fit it. You ideally need a Vault chest and a Ventures, or a Vault chest and a helmet, because you need so much spirit. You need 100, and it is 190, because I remember I'm a little bit off. So getting that magnitude on spirit could help. I'm now volleying this. I'm just saying that right now, until I have a backup one. And it took me, well, I mean, I have like 450 hours in the game right now. So these are, it's hard. It's hard getting really high spirit with energy shield. And obviously you actually end up losing defense because Ghost Wraith is just so stupid. It is just so stupid. Crazy chest. I think it's the same as like 900 or 1000 ES chest. But yeah, so I'll just continue talking a little bit about the build. Obviously I have the weapon swap things. So on my weapon swap, it's just kind of cast speed. I think maybe all spell levels, like +1 all or +1 lightning, will help the Sigil of Power, but I don't know. I didn't do any major testing on that. Cast speed is nice, just so it like gets it down faster. And then when you swap back, it'll automatically do that for you. So we make sure that Sigil of Power you can't do anything to. But on like conductivity, I have this on weapon set 2. That's so that it uses the second skill tree more so than the second weapon. Orb of Storms, Spark, and Cast on Shock. Oh, actually, Cast on Shock might need to be on both. But most things are in weapon set 1. I have Archmage on both, and Mana Tempest on both. So yeah, all of those are on both. Most, like, anything like Spark, etc. needs to be on number 1, so that it is using this and the first skill tree. Jewels are extremely important to this build, and honestly, it was probably a little bit early for me to swap. Ideally, you need magnitude of ailments you inflict and magnitude of shock on the same jewel. That is the chef's kiss that you can get, because then you get 35%. And that's probably the main thing this build is different than I've seen a lot of other people. I know Lance has a really good in-depth guild. If you need more build guide, sorry. If you need more hand-holding, Lance makes awesome stuff. Make sure you check that out. And that is built a bit different in this. This is mostly focusing on Giga Shock magnitude from jewels. So I did quite like Embu's version. That seemed to be the easiest for me to fit in SSF. And Embu just sort of walked me through it in stream. He hasn't really made much guides. Did make a really cool video that I think is unlisted, sadly, for doing the Arbiter. That also helped. But yeah, so we're using Mind Over Matter and Eldritch Battery. The way this works is convert all of your energy shield to mana. However, that means that 4.481 is just from my amulet. So you can see how strong that is. And then Mind Over Matter, very good. Makes that if I run out of energy shield, it's going to take my mana. Now, I would be terrified if my energy shield's gone, so I'd probably like leave or try to leave. But we do have that extra buffer. And we do have Grim Feast, so I can get nearly 9,000 energy shield. And I took this for some extra stun threshold. You can see that most of my like core nodes are like duration, energy shield, mana. Things that I like. I want to make sure is always there, but the weapon swap stuff, really cool. And I don't really have anything for the last point, so it's kind of whatever. That's not like a free point, by the way. Like, I just don't have an extra skill point that I want to use in both sets. I think Embu even got rid of this, by the way, because he has so much shock magnitude. So these are sort of 3 wasted points, but I don't. And honestly, a 3-point jewel, if there is any. There's a 4-point jewel here. Man, I wish I traveled normally there. Jewels are so nice. It's just incredibly hard to get doubles on SSF. I just haven't found a single one. And already now, this build is killing bosses incredibly fast. And for your Ascendancy, obviously, like I have talked about leveling the build. So I did do Arcane Surge first, then Scouring Winds, then Force of Will, and then Strike twice. The 2 shocks is what gives the build a lot of power. I'll hover over my gear as well and walk you through the general idea. Obviously, getting exact gear is hard. Katoko's is really nice, and this is sort of our replacement for Call of the Brotherhood. I will say, nothing feels as nice as Call of the Brotherhood. It is incredible. It feels so good, and I really miss it. And I think that the Call of the Brotherhood version is less likely to get nerfed, because this version is far superior, but I think it's more likely to get nerfed. And I think the Call of the Brotherhood version actually might survive a nerf, because it's not relying as hard on Archmage, Shock Magnitude, or Lightning Conduit. So actually very likely that I'll go back to that after this gets nerfed. But yeah, this does the same function as Call of the Brotherhood. You can Vol this, and the best thing you're hoping for is that the reduced attack and cast speed goes negative. So you can actually have 8% reduced cast speed on this. And then these, like, okay usable breach ring, insanely correct ring, absolutely best thing I've found. It's so nice for clearing too, because I don't have that crazy gear on SSF. My breach and beyond and just mapping damage in general has gone quite low, and my singletary is very high. But you can see that this ring alone is like pretty insane. I am trying to farm an ingenuity right now, because obviously my belt is kind of trash. I don't even really need it to rest cap, and if I get ingenuity, these rings are gonna pop off with the lightning damage, the mana. I definitely want that. Decent boots. I would rather just have a lot more focus on energy shield. A relic would be insanely much more damage, or a focus, sorry. I think I have one here somewhere that has +2. This one has +2 and cast speed. It's hard to get everything you want. But if we look at Spark here, turns off Archmage. Unlucky. Yeah, Spark just turns off Archmage, but either way, I probably would have like 30 or 40 tooltip at least. And again, tooltip's not super useful for my damage, but the +2 and cast speed's insane. Now, for my weapon, I would just like more mana, more spell damage. Cast speed would be huge. I don't know if there's shock magnitude on weapons. I don't think so. Chance shock's kind of whatever. Helmet, I've gone for rarity. I am just trying to evolve any okay helmet to try to get spirit with energy shield on it. The big puzzle piece is definitely the chest. Getting a close to 60 spirit chest with energy shield, very difficult. Now, one thing that's different, I am using Frazzled, which is magnitude of shock and mana regen. It is not as strong, seeing as we're not crit, as Lightning Rod. Non-critical hits is lucky, and this is probably, you've seen most people's version of this is probably crit. So we're actually non-crit and still like one-shotting bosses. Embu literally one-hits the pinnacle bosses. Wonder if I have a video of him doing that here. Okay, the video wasn't available anymore, but basically Amber just literally on this version with non-crit just one-shot the boss on the highest level. So pretty crazy. And again, since you don't have Icebreaker like I did on my cold version, I really recommend a Thawing Charm. You will get frozen quite a lot. Anti-stun nodes are nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll re-go over again the weapon set stuff to make that clear. So all these red ones, so it's those, and those, and these. They are all with weapon set 1. All the green ones are weapon set 2. You should have 1 point left of each. And yeah, it's pretty big. Means your curse is very big as well. So yeah, really enjoying the build. Having a blast. Using it to farm Breach. I did try it in Sanctum. I'm a little bit under geared currently. I'm not too happy with my defenses compared to my minion build. My minion build just has like twice the defense. No, honestly, because it has 50 block almost. It's like 3 times the defense. And minions are an additional defense too. So I'm doing that for most bosses at the moment. But oh, and this build is extremely, very, very almost guaranteed likely to get nerfed. Thanks for watching. Sub if you liked the video. But more importantly, try to die less than I do.